Fit for Life Radio, episode number 139. Today, your hosts, myself, Gary,
and Will.
We will be talking about how to lose fat without losing muscle.
That's like the gold mine right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we all want.
So yeah, we want to dive into nuance of, and this is in reference to general population.
Yes.
You know, people would focus on health and, you know, body composition, not to like a bodybuilder
Cutting for a
degree.
show.
And yeah, what, like, kind of making that difference of, well, what's lose fat versus lose weight. And
Yeah.
a lot of you have probably heard, or you'll maybe hear coaches or trainers talk about how they hate the term lose weight. And yeah, for the most part, there's good reason. I know we still say it and use it though, because most people like can resonate with it. When you say lose fat, yeah, people will relate to more extreme, like, oh, well, I'm not trying to be zero fat, and you know, I just want to lose some weight,
Yeah.
right? Which so, and in the same thing, it's kind of like, well, we've used this analogy before, where they say like all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
So all fat loss is weight loss, but not all weight loss is fat loss.
That might be one. How proud of yourself are you right now?
Damn.
You just came up with that on the spot.
I know. I thought I was going to confuse myself while saying
You
it.
did it, dude.
But I got it.
But that's true, you know? And when most people think of weight loss, like, they're like, yeah, like, I do want to lose fat.
And when people want to lose weight, what do we want, right? So you want to see less fat. You want your clothes to fit different. You want, you know, inches to be gone. And then also without, you know, not the body per se visually, we want what comes with that, which is what's, you know, known and doctors are talking about when they tell a client, hey, you need to lose weight. And that's, hey, they know there's direct correlation to being in certain weight ranges with cardiovascular health, you know, and disease risk and, you know, all the health things, right? So, but that comes from losing body fat. Body composition changes, right? It's not from losing water weight, right? Or stored glycogen in water. And, you know, that's going to just be, that's supposed to be there.
Yeah, like, we need that.
Right.
It's part of us.
So, yeah. So how do you ensure that, okay, I am embarking. My doctor did tell me I need to lose weight. I do, you know, my clothes are fitting tighter and I want to get back, you know, to where I feel more confident. So yes, I think most people will agree, okay, I do want those things. So yeah, I get it. I'm on board. I want to lose fat, not just weight. So how can someone just lose weight and it not be fat, right? A perfect example is a lot of, like, you know, popular fad diets. So like these, you know, Plexus 3-day fasts,
Cleanses
and all this, where, yeah, you can go and, yeah, I did it for 2 days. I didn't eat for 2 days and, you know, drank this diuretic, basically.
Yeah, this green tea concoction.
And I lost 15 pounds. Yeah. Like, no, I would not deny that you can't lose 15 pounds doing that, right? In fact, fighters do it on purpose, you know, for weigh-ins and things, because we have so much fluid in our body. And then when people hear that and say that, I think then they think, yeah, like water weight. I got to get rid of water weight.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
No, like, we need water. We're made of water, and we need it to live.
Yeah, and our body stores it in our like muscles, and you know, also glycogen, which is what carbohydrates are broken down to. Our body stores it in our muscles to use it. So, like, that's normal. It's part of their functioning process. So when we lose those things, so when we don't eat,
and we do something like a cleanse,
Yeah.
quote unquote, like, you're losing a lot of that
Yeah.
water.
Because realize when you don't eat, you don't drink, or you're taking diuretics that are flushing you out, your body then has to, it's not coming in. The stuff it needs is not coming in. So it just basically breaks down your body to get these things, right? So the fluids it needs, the glycogen it needs, the stored fat it needs, it's just taking them from your body. Your muscle, it will break down muscle. You're not eating protein, cool, let's lose muscle. So yeah, your body ultimately, when you're fasting, when you're not eating, when you're doing these extreme things, is just going to break down itself, right? So what that means is, well, when we finally do consume food and liquids again, it's going to restore all these things.
You're kind of refilling like where all this stuff was supposed to be, like the glycogen in your muscles, and like rehydrating all of your cells. Like, then you gain, quote unquote, gain weight back, because now you're filled up to like what your normal should be.
So you have to realize with these quick, fast changes of weight loss, it's not what you want.
It's not. You didn't lose 15 pounds of fat.
Yes.
It just didn't happen.
It takes time, right? Just like it takes time to gain it. No one's gaining 20 pounds of fat in 3 days either.
No, because it just doesn't happen that fast.
So you have to understand that, like, you can't get caught up in that, right? So now, okay, cool, yeah, this is a more long-term process. The other negative we have to watch out for is, losing muscle over the long term, which happens when, okay, we do maybe go on a longer-term diet, but we don't exercise, or we do a ton of cardio.
And not any resistance training.
And we just crash diet. We're not purposely eating certain things. We're just kind of trying to eat as little as possible, so which means we're typically not getting much protein either. Then over time, we are losing some body fat. We're also losing muscle and bone.
Yeah.
So then a lot of the weight loss is, some is fat, but also a lot and some is muscle, bone, things like this, right? So that's a problem.
Yeah.
So in the short term and in the long term, we have to be super cautious of losing things that we need and that make us have vigor and be vital, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the bottom line, is that's why true weight loss, true fat loss is so difficult, is because what we're really after is a slow and tedious process.
Yeah. And I think it might resonate with some people that have maybe dieted really hard in the past without doing any exercise, is that a lot of times like you will lose weight. Because I talk to all of our new client intakes, most people like want to be toned, whatever that means to you, which is basically like, hey, I want to look like athletic, like I work out, like you can see my muscle definition, and like you're lean enough to do that. But say you're not working out, you're eating barely anything, maybe doing some cardio, and that's it. Like, you're gonna lose muscle mass. You're not going to have that look that most people do want. And I don't want to assume for everybody, but most people do want to look like they are active, because you're lacking that muscle mass, because you've lost it, or at least not maintained what you've had. So if you've ever lost a ton of weight not working out, and then you get to that end weight that you thought you'd be happy at, and you're like, damn, I don't look how I thought I was going to, or how I wanted to. And a lot of that's due to how much muscle you lost from not, being able to maintain it.
Yeah. And realize muscles are more than just things to look at, right?
Yeah, they're functional, man.
We're a bag of bones. Our muscles are what, moves these bones, right, with input from our brain and neurological system.
So when you lose muscle, like, it makes stuff harder.
Yeah.
So
and then also, along with our muscles are our joints and ligaments and things like that. And you want to be strong and capable, right? We don't want to lose those things. And we're not talking about, you don't need to have like huge, like professional athlete, bodybuilder amounts of muscle. Really, for most of us, especially as we get past 35, 40 years old, it's just about hanging on to what we got.
Just maintain.
That's the victory. And then you hang on to that, and then you can lose body fat that's covering it. That's how you get to be toned, and get the benefits of having, being at a weight that supports longevity. So how to lose fat without losing muscle. So what are the key things? So now we've kind of broken down the difference of how, you can lose weight and not lose much fat, which is not what we want, right? So to ensure fat loss as much as possible, the main priority is to, like we just said, maintain muscle. What goes into maintaining muscle? Ultimately, exercise, and then far and away, and all exercise can help a little, but resistance training, strength training is by far and away superior.
It's the best bang for your buck you can get, especially like if maintaining muscle is your goal. Things like, running or cycling, just overall aren't going to do as good of a job as just straight up resistance training. You know? So if you had to pick one, that would be our vote.
Yeah. And it just has such a strong stimulus, because you're directly challenging your muscles and typically in full ranges of motion. And if you're doing a smart program, it should be covering all your
whole entire
body. So it's just the clear choice. Then you also need to support, your muscle nutritionally via getting enough protein, right? So a higher protein intake, again, like the nutritional guideline food pyramid recommends like 50 grams a day, but that's based off of preventing deficiencies.
Yeah,
right?
enough to like make sure you're not withering away.
Yeah, but we want to thrive. So, for most people, just doubling that then will be just fine, around 100 grams a day. And that's going to...
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop, mixed in water, once a day, and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out. If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop, mixed in water, once a day, and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
Be a good idea, right? Because ultimately, along with the regular resistance training, consuming enough protein helps kind of maximize and cover all our bases for muscle maintenance, muscle growth. So by stimulating our muscles via resistance training, giving it the fuel it needs via enough dietary complete protein, those are the big rocks, right? Now we are pretty much can ensure, because we're giving our body a reason, I need to keep this muscle and the raw materials to do so.
To keep the muscle.
So now through creating the calorie deficit through our nutrition, when we do lose weight with these big rocks in place, resistance training, protein intake, we can be pretty confident that it's mostly body fat that we're losing, right? Especially over the long term. Again, short-term fluctuations are always going to be affected by hydration and glucose and water and food in our belly, right? That's another thing. When you do a 3-day fast and detox,
Yeah, you've digested everything.
You haven't eaten any food. So that could be 2 pounds that's just not in your belly, right? So, but once we start eating regularly, that's always
there's always something in the system.
Yeah, so that's normal. That's fine. So, yeah, that's how we ensure that we are losing fat, right? And then the big piece of that is your own personal expectations and perspective. You have to come to grips with, like, this is a slow and steady process that takes time.
Yeah. And something else to remember, just an offshoot about protein, because it is important to get enough. Like, we don't have, like, body fat is stored fat, right? We have stored carbs as well, like, even though they're a little shorter term. But protein's not something aside from, like, your muscle that we store.
Yeah.
So if you are deficient in protein, your body is going to go to the best source, which is, like, your tissue, your muscle. So always getting adequate amounts every single day is very important, because we just don't have a surplus of it to pull from, without losing our muscle mass.
Yeah. And then if you go into some studies of this, in 2010, a Purdue University meta-analysis found that when people diet without exercising, about 25% of their weight loss comes from fat-free mass, which is like
muscle, bones,
stuff that's not fat.
connective tissue.
So a quarter.
That's a lot, man.
Yep.
So if you lose 10 pounds, 2.5, 3 pounds of that's going to be not fat.
Yeah, and it's funny because right here they say how a weight loss of 10 pounds means about 7.5 pounds will be fat and a quarter of it won't be, right? And what's the issue with that is, well, a lot of times now we've also kind of lowered our long-term metabolism a teeny bit, by lowering our fat-free mass. So then when we maybe go back to normal, people then notice, and this is like the old school yo-yo approach, oh, well, I actually gain weight easier now. Well, because you have less fat-free mass,
your base metabolism
then they
is
get
lower.
Frustrated, and then they do the crash again, lose more fat-free mass again, and they're actually fast-forwarding this process.
Yeah, and it's like every time you do it, you have to generally eat less because your base metabolism is lower, and so they just kind of dig themselves into a hole with this constant, back and forth approach. So, and I think that might resonate with a lot of people, because that's something people have been through the years.
Yep. And then they, looked at some studies, and majority of studies with resistance training actually show or didn't show any decrease in fat-free mass.
Boom.
So, especially if you're probably not pushing to the extremes, for the most part, like we said, you implement the resistance training, sufficient protein intake, and you won't lose any.
Did it say how many days a week they did? I'm guessing it's probably like 2 days a week in a study like that. That would be my guess.
No, since it was a meta, they kind of took a bunch of studies and then looked at the results of those, so they were probably all different.
Usually it's nothing crazy, though. Like, it's kind of a bare minimum thing in studies like that, where it's 2, maybe 3 days a week generally of something. So I guarantee they're not on like a 6-day bodybuilding split.
Generally, they did 3 workouts per week.
Yeah.
And performed less than 10 sets per muscle group. So,
that's solid.
Yeah. Like low to moderate.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, that's not like working out 2 hours a day or anything like that.
And it's funny because, when most people think, oh, I want to lose weight, they think I need to get really sweaty and really tired and do a bunch of cardio.
Get my heart rate up.
And do higher reps.
Oh, God,
and that's where people go, when the reality is, like, resistance training is fat loss training.
Yeah.
Because you lose the fat through nutrition, through creating that deficit, but you want to exercise and specifically resistance train so that you can keep that lean mass, to ensure more fat loss.
Yeah.
Right? So if people start reframing that, hey, resistance training is fat loss training, they're going to have a lot better mindset and get a lot better results.
Yeah. That's a hard thing. Dude, people just had it beat into them that, like, cardio and high reps, like, all coincide with fat loss. And it's just, we know, like, while cardio can help, like, that's not the answer for most people.
And when you look, and this is where, just for observational reasons, looking at extremes, well, look at the sport of bodybuilding, which the goal is to get as lean as possible.
And maintain as much muscle as humanly
possible. So the
possible.
sport is fat loss,
And see, what do they do?
And they don't do much any high intensity cardio.
No, they walk.
They
lift
do
weights.
a lot of. They keep doing it, and they do a bunch of low intensity cardio. Walking, stair mill, riding the bike, stationary bike, things like that. So,
and that's it.
Yeah, and if their sport, if it was the best thing to do was tons of high intensity cardio and all this cardio,
that's what everyone would have figured out.
That's what they would do because they're just after results, right?
Yeah, which is why they're doing the same exercises for years. They're eating plain meals because that's what gets it done for them, and
well, even then now science backs all that up, right?
Yeah.
Like when we have more food variety, more flavors, more textures, it makes it easier to want to eat more, right? So it's
whereas if you eat chicken, rice, and broccoli, we'll just talk about the typical bro meal. Like you don't need as much variety because
it's very low reward, not highly palatable, right? Which actually makes it easier to eat less.
To just stick with doing that.
Yeah. But and again, obviously these are extreme examples.
But they do lend themselves to the idea.
Yeah. So it gives you anecdotal, real world evidence to then look at the science and then let's all tie it up in a practical form for most people who just want to lose 20 pounds. And that's what we try to pass along, which is, cut out mindless snacking, focus on finding go-to meals you enjoy, but that are complete and have a protein source, a vegetable, a little bit of starch, and then strength train, get sufficient protein, control your diet. And that is how you lose fat and not just weight.
Yeah.
So, although losing fat is losing weight.
It is. But losing weight's not always losing fat.
There we go.
We got it. Hopefully people remember that. And if you do need, a lot of people do struggle with getting enough protein in. That's probably one of the more common ones because, it is harder to eat in large quantities for people, especially if they're not used to it. We have a couple episodes on...
It's not convenient.
Yeah, it's not convenient to put a chicken breast in your pocket.
But now...
Unless you're Ben.
There is so much getting to be, technology is getting leveraged. How we poo-poo processed foods. Well, now there's companies like Quest, which make processed foods, but, they're making high-protein foods, right? So they have... And I've heard a couple people talk about these. I haven't had them yet, and I've been meaning to get them. Quest has protein chips now.
I've been curious about them.
And I looked at them. The macros are good. They're a bag is 25 grams of protein. Carbs and fats are low. So they're not cheap, which is also probably good.
Yeah,
you're not going to eat 5 bags of them.
Yeah. Get all your protein from protein.
But there's options out there, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely ways to do it, but I wish I knew the number. But we have a couple on protein that are good listens.
Yeah.
Convenient protein choices. Are you pulling them up?
Yeah. So you may ask yourself, well, how do I get enough protein? So I believe if you go back to, let's see, episode number 121 of Fit for Life Radio, convenient lean protein options. We go over some in there. And there also, as far as resistance training, I know we have one where we kind of break down a simple workout or all you really need.
Yeah.
That would be, let's see.
Should have had this.
Another one similar to this one, what muscle means to you.
Literally just saw that one. Yep.
Number 101 will also be helpful.
And we can put these in the notes. I'll have them ready for you.
Somewhere we have one with the top 4 exercises or something like that. That'd be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Cover your whole body. But those are the key big rocks that you want to focus on. So if you do want to get just more tone, and ultimately lose weight, but I want to do it right. I want to lose body fat. I want to kind of take the long-term approach that's most successful. And that's, again, focusing on losing fat, maintaining our fat-free mass, or maintaining our, bone, joints, muscles, all those things. So we do not want to lose that.
So I found it. episode 124. The only 4 exercises you need. Is that the one you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one.
Yeah, 124.
So there you go.
That's that, folks. It's simple. Just make sure you get enough protein.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna die on that hill.
And give your body a strong stimulus to keep its muscle and
Yeah.
strength, which is resistance training.
Yeah, that's your best bet for losing fat, because you don't want to get stuck in that cycle of lose fat and muscle, make it harder for yourself when you gain weight back or go back to normal, and then you just keep digging that hole that so many people find themselves in. So
Yeah.
stay strong.
All right. Hopefully that's helpful. As always, if you're ever looking for extra accountability and support with your nutrition, we have nutrition coaching. A good place to start is we have a free Facebook group called Fat Loss Secrets for Busy Adults. You can just search for that on Facebook, or we have the link in the show notes. And yeah, that's a group where we post a bunch of tips, similar to stuff we talk about on here.
Videos, Facebook
Lives, giveaways, little PDFs, Q&As, all that good stuff. So you can join that as well. And we'll be back next week bringing some more nuggets.
Oh, we're coming. We'll see you next time.
All right, let us know what you want to hear.
As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.